Now I think this one, I think this one is the one that we've all been waiting for, right? Like ever since that playoff loss, the last time the Ravens were in the playoffs, it was against the Bills, and then you see Josh Allen go to this ascent that he's been on with Stephon Diggs and these guys, and everybody's like he's next in line, but we like wait a minute, don't forget about Lamar. Wait a minute, don't forget about the Ravens. So I think this Ravens versus Bills matchup, I gotta say, it's not necessarily a must win for either team, but I think either way, it's a statement game. We got a statement game on Sunday, Ravens versus Bills. What's gonna happen? What do I think? How's it gonna go? What do you think? Let's find out. All right, what is going on, good people? Back at it again. DJ from Beal Productions. This is Flock Nation Speaks. What episode are we on? Episode 18, I think. I think we're on episode 18. Every preview is a new episode, I feel like. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know which one should be the episode. Should it be the recap? Should it be the preview? Who knows? Anyway, but nonetheless, episode 18 for I gotta find a Ravens player for 18. I don't know right off on 18, right? Like, I mean, you think of like legends of the game when it comes to like Peyton Manning and stuff like that, but 18 is such a weird number too. Like sometimes there's just weird numbers that that are like your episode number. You're like, I don't know. But nonetheless, very excited. Bills versus Ravens preview coming up in this episode. I'm gonna probably touch a little bit on Lamar Jackson being the named the AFC Player of the Month and what a start he's had to his season. Probably a little bit about the receivers too, man. I think the receivers have stepped up. I think the biggest disappointment, probably to say, so far during this season has been the defense. But first, before we get into that, question of the day, we always got to have a little icebreaker, right? We always got to have a little icebreaker that's kind of like, I got to make sure that Flock Nation is with me on more than just Flock Nation, right? More than just the Ravens flock. Okay, we gotta agree on a couple other things, just for the fun of it. But uh, let's look into it. Let's look into it. Movies or TV shows? That's my one today. It's weird because as technology has changed, I think I don't even think my opinion has changed on this. I think more so, like, you get more bang for your buck, I think, sometimes. For me, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. TV has to be the thing for me because the thing about movies is, except for unless it's like a series, right? Like it's like a series of movies that comes out. You got your Lord of the Rings, you got your Harry Potters and all that stuff, right? Oh, your Austin Powers, if you're me, right? You got those movies that come out in succession, right? You got several different types, but oh no, man. Oh no. I think TV shows got the movies beat because especially now where you can sit down and you can binge watch a whole season in a day, which is probably not the healthiest thing in the world. But nonetheless, I mean, sometimes when some shows come out, you got to you just knock it out. But I, I prefer TV shows, but I think I've always preferred TV over movies. Being a big wrestling fan, of course, you got that coming on each week, right? Of course, with sports and everything too, not necessarily a TV show, but and I don't even know if wrestling technically they have seasons, so technically I think it can go anyway. But you know what I'm saying? Like, even still, like, I'm and I guess this will probably be a question of the day sometime soon too. But I like a lot of interesting like reality shows and stuff like that. Like that's something I'm really big into, whether it's like Big Brother, The Challenge, Survivor, all of those shows. Those little lovey-dovey shows that I won't talk about in this one, but I'll talk about it in the next one. But and then whenever I bring that question of the day back. But for real though, man, I prefer TV shows. I think you can sit down, you can watch them. And the thing about movies is sometimes you get to a middle of a movie and you're just like, I just don't feel like watching this. At least with a TV show, it's gonna be 30 minutes to an hour. And if you don't want to watch the next episode, you're done, right? You're done. You ain't gotta worry about that. No more. But nonetheless, which one do you guys prefer? Movies or TV shows? Which one? Like, I know a lot of people, they like to go to the theater. They like to see the new movies when they come out. And going to the theater is fun, right? You get that movie theater popcorn, right, with the butter on it. I get it, but still, man, it's like, I mean, there ain't nothing like a TV show. You can watch a whole season like that, and you don't even feel like you don't even feel like you've been watching TV all day. But nonetheless, into the Ravens stuff, right? Is that what we calling this? The Ravens stuff. Into the Ravens stuff. Lamar Jackson named the AFC, probably could be like NFL at this point, but they got to spread the wealth on that one. The AFC Player of the Month for pretty much not the first 4 weeks, but the first 3 weeks at least. Has had a heck of a season. When it comes down to it. Starting out, so just some of the stats, like it's crazy that I think he's leading the league in like QBR, passing touchdowns, and there's a couple of other things, man. Of course, you got the rushing stats too. He doesn't have as many yards as some of the other guys have right now, but then at the same time, he's got like 250 yards rushing. So like it coincides, right? Because I know a lot of people, right? I know a lot of people are like, oh, but it's total touchdowns versus passing touchdowns, or it's total yards versus, like, people don't like the notch of total yards versus passing yards or whatever for a quarterback. But my whole thing has always been, would a running back not be credited for receiving touchdown if he caught the ball, right? So that's the thing. Like that's what bothers me about that whole like, oh, we want to disrespect not even necessarily running quarterbacks, because the only person who gets disrespected in that regard is Lamar Jackson. That's it. Like, there's no other, like, we don't say, oh my goodness, Josh Allen has 10 rushing touchdowns, but they don't count, right? But it's only when Lamar Jackson has 8. So I remember, it's funny because I was reading the comments last week on one of the Facebook posts, because the way that the caption was put, it made it seem like he had like 5 rushing TDs last week. And somebody's like, oh, another rushing TD. And I'm like, isn't a rushing TD still 6 points, right? Isn't a rushing TD like just as valuable as a passing TD, right? And the thing is, with the last week's game especially, he had 4 passing TDs. And literally that last TD, it was funny because I was watching the game thinking, I kind of wanted to pass it in just to have the 5 passing TDs, right? Just for the stats of it, so people can shut up. But then at the same time, I was sitting here thinking, it's 5 TDs either way, right? Like, it's crazy. It's 5 TDs either way. It's ridiculous, right? So, I mean, that's the thing, and of course he had the Jackson 5 last week. I think he's had 4 touchdowns every single week, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he's just had a really good season so far. 63% completion percentage. I know that's not necessarily up to snuff with Josh Allen's 70% or whatever he's at right now, but nonetheless, I mean, Lamar has really put this offense on his back, as he often does, and I think people see that. I think people are finally starting to see, like, him do more with less, and that's no offense to the Duvernays of the world and the Batemans of the world, and of course Mark Andrews, best tight end in the league of the world, right? Like, that has nothing to do with them per se. But I said it before, and as you kind of shift into that Devin Duvernay discussion, right, about like what he's done, man, the thing is, like, this is a prove it year for the Ravens wide receivers, because people haven't really seen the Ravens wide receivers, right? People haven't seen the Ravens wide receivers for the simple point of they haven't really gotten opportunities, right? James Prochet and Devin Duvernay haven't gotten opportunities. Not to say James Prochet has gotten opportunities this year either, but when you look at it, right, James Prochet, Devin Duvernay, Rashad Bateman, Bateman has been here for 2 years. Duvernay's been, this is his 3rd year in the league. It's Prochet's 3rd year in the league. Tylen's 2nd year in the league, right? And then you add in DeMarcus Robinson too. Like, this was a proven season for Ravens wide receivers, right? This season is a prove-it season for Ravens wide receivers, because they haven't been able to see those opportunities. Ravens have been a run-first team for since 1996. So because of that, right, that kind of shifts into the offense still, right now, even though they're putting up ridiculous numbers in both rushing and passing right now. So that's the thing. I think I'm really impressed by Devin Duvernay though, man. Like Devin Duvernay comes out here and makes a play wherever he can. If it's in special teams, he gonna make the play in special teams, right? He gonna go up and grab, a guy who I didn't necessarily see as a jump ball guy, even though I think he was at Texas. I didn't see him as a jump ball guy, just because of the way he is utilized. But he has showcased like I'm gonna go up and go catch the football, and that's something that like the Ravens haven't had in a while. They haven't had a guy who will go up, take the contact, right? Take the contact, catch the defender's arm in the catch like Anquan used to do. The Ravens haven't had that in quite some time, and it's almost been like the missing ingredient because, and that's not to say that speed is not important because it is. Of course, we've seen Bateman's breakaway speed, right? We've seen him, now that he's finally healthy, we've seen him be able to, shift off some guys and keep it moving, right? Like we've seen that. We've seen how big speed can be, but at the same time, like the Ravens have always went after the speed guy, Hollywood Brown, right? Who can make some big catches too, right? Hollywood Brown is a guy who can make some big catches, but they went after a guy like Hollywood Brown, Torrey Smith, these guys like that, Brashard Perriman. If you take it back a little bit, like they've always went after the speed guy, but then to have the guy who can go up and jump ball, pick the ball up off the off that high throw. That's the biggest thing, right? You put it where nobody else can get it. And to see Mark Andrews kind of get back into the action with that over the last couple of seasons, and also now to see it from the receivers, because I think before we weren't seeing it from the receivers, we weren't seeing it from some of these guys. Like it's not necessarily that wasn't Hollywood's role, but we weren't. I mean, we weren't seeing it from Duvernay in past seasons, right? We saw it maybe a little bit from Bateman, but this was the jump ball throw was not something that the Ravens threw at all. But now you feel like at least you have a little bit more confidence in the ability of guys like Demarcus Robinson and guys like Duvernay from what they've shown so far. Bateman from what they've shown so far. I think a lot of people were high on Bateman because he didn't play the whole season and had almost 800 yards. I think last year. I think it was like 749 or something like that. Like he had a good season considering he didn't play all the games, right? He missed the first 4, I know at least, and then Lamar didn't even play the last 5 it was. So because of that's a big deal for him to break through like that, even without the starting QB. But nonetheless, I think the receivers have been impressive. That's my biggest thing. As we kind of slide into the preview too. I think that's the biggest thing, and that's going to be big for going up against the Bills defense, which is a little bit injured, but it's a good defense nonetheless, and more so injured on the back end with Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer being out. I think Hyde's out for the year. I don't know if Poyer's out for the year, but I know Hyde is out for the year. So that's a big deal, man. I think coming into another, it feels like the Ravens have played the Bills a lot. Not as much as the Chiefs. They played the Chiefs for like 4 straight years, but it feels like they played the Bills a lot, man. It feels like because they played them in that big like snow game. That wasn't the playoffs. That was the game in the regular season. It was a close game, but I remember they played. I think that was before they got Stephon Diggs too. That was like Josh Allen's. Was that his sophomore season? I think that was Josh Allen's sophomore season. But they played them then. They played them in the playoffs. They playing them now, right? They matched up with the Bills a couple times, and I think the Bills have all the potential in the world. It's just gonna be if they can put it together. Last week it felt like a lot of mental lapses from them, against the Dolphins, but we'll have to see what they're gonna do, right? Biggest thing that I'm worried about from the Ravens perspective is what they're gonna do with Stephon Diggs. What are the Ravens going to do with Stephon Diggs? Who are they going to put on him? Because they've been weird, especially with Marlon having this groin injury. They have been weird about letting Marlon roam around with people, right? I mean, I just feel like Marlon should have probably left. What's today? Probably should have left on Tuesday, right? He probably should have left on Tuesday. Went and hung out with Stephon Diggs, met the family, all that, just had dinner with him, had lunch with him, just went to work with him and just stuck with him, right, for the foreseeable future until the end of this game, right? Like I think they should let Marlon be that guy that is gonna shadow Stephon Diggs, and if that don't work, then that don't work, right? Like I'm all for taking some chances in some areas, right? I'm good with What I'm not good with is putting your guys in weird positions, like putting these rookies on Stephon Diggs. I just don't really, with no help on the back end. I just don't trust that. But then when it comes to Marlon, who's been there, done that, he's shown that he can shut down guys like OBJ and Jarvis Landry, and that's just in the division, right? Juju, guys like that, like he's shown that he can do that. He's shown that he can shut down guys. So I want to see, I would rather you take the chance, especially early, right? Early while you still got time. Take the chance, put Marlon out there on Stephon Diggs and see if he can make Stephon Diggs a little uncomfortable and make Josh Allen beat you in any other way that he can besides Stephon Diggs. Because I think if you can take Stephon Diggs out, although I know they got Gabriel Davis and they got some talent out there, but although they got other talent, I think if you take Stephon Diggs out of the equation, it dampens that talent a little bit. Let's make Josh Allen run a little bit. Not to say that he can't run, not to say that he's not fast, and he'll run you over too. But let's make him run the football. Let's not let them beat us. With his arm and with Stephon Diggs, the talent that Stephon Diggs is. So I think the defense. The biggest thing for the defense is I think it's going to be matching up the right guys, but also pass rush. Can we finally get some sort of pass rush? It feels like past the first quarter, right? Past the first quarter, Justin Houston time, right? Can we get some sort of pass rush? Jason Pierre-Paul probably is playing this week, so that's going to be a big deal too. Like, what can Jason Pierre-Paul do, right? Is he going to be able to make an impact early, make an impact fast and early and be a guy that can maybe open up some lanes for Adafe Owe and Travis Jones and these guys. Michael Pierce is out for the year now, so that hurts. Having a veteran guy who I thought was playing pretty well too, like, to see what they're going, how they're going to do it, with Meta BK in there too, like, can a veteran pass rusher be the reason why you kind of open up the scheme? Because it's been a minute, really, it's been a couple years since the Ravens have had a good pass rush. What was it? It wasn't last year, but the year before they traded for Unique Ngakoue because they had pass rush issues. They had Judon. Judon was playing pretty well, right? I feel like it's been a while since the Ravens have had a good pass rush. So if they can find some sort of pass rush against Josh Allen, that would help too. Just because it's gonna help everybody out. It's gonna help the coverage on the back end, right? It's gonna make Josh Allen uncomfortable. So because they don't really have a running game like that. Like they do, but it's not definitely not top of the league or nothing like that. And it's been like that for the past couple of years. So it's going to be interesting to see, of course, Josh Allen will have to pass the ball, but you would think it would make it easier to to stop him, right? But, just want to see it from the offensive end, a clean game too. Like, continue to, Lamar being as clean as he's been this season, right? Offensive line has played pretty well, protecting him and, getting the run game going. I think that's going to be the big thing too. Like, the run game, I talked about it in the recap. The run game wasn't great. JK's stats didn't leap out to you, but at the same time, JK gave the Ravens more of a wrinkle than they've had in the past, over the past year without JK, right? JK gave the Ravens a little bit more than they've had in quite some time, so they need that, right? So to have JK back, I don't know what the update is on Gus. I kind of want to look. I kind of want to look. I was looking for number 18 in Ravens history, and Malachi Polk came up. So, which he got signed this week, I think, by the Giants, who lost Sterling Shepard for the year. But I'm trying to see where is Gus? Like as of September 8th, he said he's doing great and very close, but they have been weirdly silent on Gus. And Gus is one of those guys, unfortunately, given the history of the Ravens organization and how they've kind of done with Gus. Gus is a guy that they can let fall through the cracks just because I don't think they value him as much as they should. Gus is a dog. We've seen what Gus can do, but Gus was playing well with Lamar, and then they drafted JK. I want to even think even before that, and I might be mistaken on this one, but I thought Gus played well, and then they signed Mark Ingram, and then Gus was still playing well, and then they drafted JK. And I might be wrong about that, but I can't remember right off. Uh, to be honest with you, but I mean, I'm excited to have Gus back too. You know, I think having Gus back could be a big deal too. I think it could, having the 1-2 punch of Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins has been good for the Ravens. I think offensively, just be clean, like, continue to, like, and I talk about it being like a prove it year for the receivers. Like, continue to continue to show that you are those guys, right? Like, continue to Devin Duvernay, make the plays you got to make. I know Prochet has been hurt, but if he gets some opportunities, just show, make the most of what you get. And that's what Devin Duvernay has been doing, right? He's been making the most of every opportunity that he gets. If you throw that man a jump ball, he going to, he might not come down with it, but he going to for darn sure try his best. Right. So that's the thing. I mean, I think Duvernay has been impressive. I think Bateman has been impressive. And I don't think I expected anything less from Bateman, to be honest. But it'll be interesting. I think, to see it consistently week to week, I think is going to be the best thing that we can have, right? Like it's going to be able to, see it consistently and see, can the Ravens continue to put together this kind of offensive onslaught consistently? And I mean, I think they can, because they did it last year, right? They did it last year with with no running backs, right? They did it last year with fourth string, fifth string running backs at this point. I don't know if Ronnie Stanley, that's the other one I wanted to look up real quick. I don't know if Ronnie Stanley is playing this week, but it's very interesting. I think, he's still questionable. So it's interesting because, Makari went out with the ankle sprain, I think it was. So I mean, that means you lose Jawan James, right? So you already out of your first string with Ronnie, right? Your first string is out, your second string and Jawan James is out, Patrick Makari is out, your third string, and then you put Daniel Falele, who I don't even think he plays that position, but nonetheless, right? You put him out there. I think he played. I could have swore they said he plays right tackle, but nonetheless, you put him out there. He had a rough start, but he figured it out, and he looked pretty good after that. So good bounce back from him. So it'll be interesting, man, without Ronnie, and see if Falele can keep it going. What that means, but I definitely think the Ravens can have a good victorious week this weekend. Like I said, it's a statement game. The Ravens don't have to win this game, but the Ravens look 10 times better if they do win this game. It's kind of like last year with like the Chiefs, right? You know, I don't remember right off, but the Ravens weren't really seen. It's not that they weren't seen as contenders, but there was a lot of injuries going on. People were like, I don't know if they can do it or whatever. And then when the Ravens beat the Chiefs finally last year, it became a difference in question. So I think this is kind of like what, because everybody's saying like the Bills are the team to beat. So if you beat the team to beat, right? To beat a man, you got to beat the man. Then you are the man, right? You are who you say you are, right? You are as good as you thought you were, right? So that's gonna be the big thing. I think that's gonna be the big shifting point. But can't wait to see what's gonna happen. It should be a good one. Surprises at 1 o'clock, but nonetheless, but especially with these two teams, and it could have been like since the Ravens finished in last place, they don't get as many primetime games because of that. I don't really know, but I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. It should be good. I think if the Ravens play clean, and really just clean up the errors on the defensive end, I think it'll be it should I think, and I said it in my picks before, like, it's weird to say that the Ravens can beat the Bills by multiple scores, but you know if the Ravens play like they've been playing offensively, and then you put that together with a good defensive showing with some turnovers, since they've been, they have at least been turning people over. They might have been giving up yards and touchdowns, but they've been at least turning people over. If they can turn Josh Allen over once or twice, or whoever, it don't really matter if it ain't got to be Josh Allen. If they can turn them over, then it could change the game. But as always, you can always. I was gonna say real quick too. Be sure, question of the day, movies versus TV shows. Leave your thoughts in the comments as you leave your thoughts on the Bills Ravens game. And also, as always, Flock Nation Speaks is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Anchor, uh, also on YouTube and Facebook if you want to watch as well. You know, you know, we there for you, right? We here, right? But as always, definitely hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already and you liked what you saw, you liked you know the opinions and everything, you want to leave your opinion, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave that opinion, you know. But I want to hear from y'all too. But as always, definitely hope you guys enjoyed. Until